This will be an interesting season. The Champions League, the best competition in the world, the highest ranked club competition, and now there are only 16 teams left, and the competition is reaching its greatest stage with the cream of the crop of the world's teams or European teams. Some of the greatest teams will be competing for this title this season, and one of 16 teams will win it. And let's get right into the Champions League. First, we have the 8 teams who will be going down into the Europa League as they finished third in their groups. Club Brugge, Inter Milan, Napoli, Galatasaray, Benfica, Shakhtar Donetsk, Victoria Plzeň, and Valencia. Some of these teams are sure to be very disappointed about going down. Inter Milan ought to be killing themselves by now as they failed to qualify by failing to defeat PSV at home. For a team of their caliber, that's very disappointing and sad. Napoli should be somewhat sad going out to Liverpool in dramatic fashion, but they still put up a good fight, and to that they should be given props, defeating Liverpool once and playing well throughout the group. Galatasaray should be feeling down as they were very lucky with their group selection, but still ended up with a third place finish. Galatasaray won't get probably the best chance a team could get, the easiest group a team could get, but they still finished third place, and the Turkish team that's been improving over the years, they ought to be disappointed that they couldn't at least make the round of 16. I think Inter Milan and Napoli will challenge for their Europa League title. I think one of the four, either Inter Milan, Napoli, Chelsea, or Arsenal, will win the Europa League title. Now, let's finish off with the Europa League and go to what actually matters, the Champions League. These are the 16 teams that have advanced to the next round of the Champions League. The round does have rules. 3 main rules for the draw, which will be held on Monday. No 2 teams of the same group can play each other, meaning no 2 teams that play each other in the group stage can play each other in this round of competition. Secondly, a team that finished top of their group must play a runner-up or vice versa, meaning a team that finished first place in their group will play a team that finished second in their group, and a team that finished second will be playing a team that finished first in that group. Thirdly, teams in the same group can't play each other, meaning if they play each other in the group stage, they won't be playing each other again. And no teams from the same country can play. This means no matchups such as Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid, no Juve versus Roma, no Bayern versus Schalke, no Borussia Dortmund versus Schalke, no Manchester City versus Tottenham, no Manchester City versus Liverpool. Two clubs, in the same league cannot contest in the round of 16. The 8 teams who have advanced, finishing as runners-up in their group, are as follows: Atletico Madrid of Spain, Tottenham Hotspur of England, Liverpool of England, Schalke of Germany, Ajax of the Netherlands, Lyon of France, Roma of Italy, and Manchester United of England. The 8 teams who finished first are as follows: Borussia Dortmund of Germany, Barcelona of Spain, PSG of France, Porto of Portugal, Bayern Munich of Germany, Manchester City of England, Real Madrid, 3-time back-to-back champion of Spain, and Juventus from Italy. However, like always, there are a few teams that I feel stand out for not being as good as the rest. In this scenario, I think there are a few teams that people would want to play. For teams that finish first, I feel that there are 4 main teams that they'd want to play or would consider a favorable drawing. First is Lyon. I think that Lyon, although they did play well in the matches against Manchester City, they're not very consistent on the field. They're not always playing that well. They're struggling in the French domestic league, and I feel for any of the teams that finish first would much prefer a team like this over Tottenham or Liverpool. Ajax is not that big of a team. They're simply not as high quality as some of the other teams. In fact, they're probably the worst team on the list. Schalke of Germany is interesting. Last season they did good in the German title. Normally they do well, but this season they're struggling and are very, very, very poor, and domestically are doing terrible. Roma, similar scenario. They made the final four of the Champions League last season, but this year they still are struggling domestically. For teams that finished second, I feel the only team that they all want to play is FC Porto, because FC Porto doesn't have the quality nor the consistency that other teams have. Although Real Madrid is a team that very much lacks consistency, on the day they can be a very good team and are capable of producing those high quality moments, as evident as they won 3 Champions League titles, where they, at the beginning of the season, they didn't seem like a team that could win a Champions League title. The draw will be held on Monday to draw out the teams and who will play in the round of 16, which will be taking part in February, beginning in February. And matchups that I want to see are matchups between teams. Well, for the Europa League, it's going to be a very interesting group stage as you add teams like Inter Milan and Napoli and Valencia, who are talented. So the Europa League will obviously get a boost, but no one really watches the Europa League. No one really cares. It's a second-tier competition. The Champions League, I feel that an interesting matchup that I would want to see would be a Barcelona versus Liverpool. A team like Barcelona that's top of Spain right now against the top of England, Liverpool. I think it would be an interesting Lionel Messi versus Mohamed Salah, Ousmane Dembele versus Roberto Firmino, Luis Suarez versus Sadio Mane, Alisson, Ter Stegen, 2 great goalkeepers. I feel that would be a very tight game, and in my opinion, the highest quality and best game to watch that could come in the round of 16. That's all for today's video. Expect more Champions League coverage as the season progresses, and a post Champions League round of 16 draw reaction. Be sure to like the video and subscribe. Paperball rolling out.